Well, good evening to everyone, and I'm thankful that everyone was able to come out this evening to our HRC Human Relations Commission meeting. Even though we're virtual, but it's good to see others' faces as well. So I call our meeting to order for March 25th, 2022, and I ask for our secretary, Ms. Carla Duncan, for our roll call.
And Chair Lee, before we get started with the roll call, I would just like to remind everyone that, this is a public meeting. So we are asking that if at all possible, everyone have cameras on so that the public can see who you are, because typically we would be in person and they would be seeing you. So we ask that you have your cameras on unless we've already talked about it or we already know that something else is preventing you from being able to do so tonight. And also don't forget that when we are meeting virtually, we have to do roll call voting for everything that you all vote for. So I know that you all probably will remember this, but I'm supposed to say this at the beginning of every meeting, that whenever Chair Lee calls for a vote, we have to go down the roll for each of you to say aye or nay. Okay?
That's right.
So just a reminder. So I'm supposed to say that anyway. So sorry,
Yes.
Chair. Thank you. Make sure I did.
It's all right. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Ms. Carla Duncan.
Chairperson Lee.
Present.
Vice Chair Thompson.
Present.
Commissioner Bloomfield. Commissioner Haynes will be joining us shortly. Commissioner Preble.
Aye, present.
Commissioner Price.
Present.
Commissioner Sarton has requested an excused absence. Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Usher. And Commissioner Wiggins.
Present.
All right, thank you, Ms. Duncan. At this time, everyone should have received the January 2022 minutes. And so have everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes, I have.
All right, well, if everyone have a chance to review the minutes at this time, I'm going to ask to see, is there approval for the minutes, the January minutes?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve. Sorry.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Preble, second by Vice Chair Thompson. I'm going to go around the room to with the Zoom call to make sure that everyone have placed their vote. We're going to start with, let's see, Vice Chair Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Preble.
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Price.
Aye.
Commissioner Wiggins. We're voting on the minutes. Vote on, okay.
Aye.
That is, I think I have everybody.
Commissioner Price, I'm not sure if you, Commissioner Price to vote. Did I miss you, Commissioner Price?
Oh, I may have spoken too softly. Aye.
Okay.
Okay. All right, the ayes have it. Is there any discussion? Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. Thank you all for your vote on the summary of the minutes. The next item is in regards to chairperson updates. I do not have any updates, but with the exception of Ms. Wanda, Alan Abraham and I have been talking about in regards to maybe to or sorry, meeting in person or staying virtual, or maybe there'd be a combination of both. And so that is a discussion that she and I was talking about earlier this afternoon. Wanda, do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure, Chair Leak. Commissioners, and once again, good evening. What Chair Leak is referencing is the fact that we have received a communication, we being department heads have received a communication from our city attorney advising us that we should be on standby in terms of the format for our advisory board meetings. And so meaning that, of course, right now we're still under an emergency order by both Governor Cooper and Mayor Joines. And so I do believe, I'm not sure, but I think both of those orders are going to expire on March 31st, which is next week. And so not sure what'll happen. Those orders could be renewed or extended for a little while longer, or they may not be, or one may be and the other one may not be. But it was just to kind of be on standby and be watchful, because of course the status of both or one of those orders will most likely have a direct impact on the platform for which you all meet. And so we need to just be mindful of the fact that if something were to happen and those orders were allowed to expire, then it will mean that all advisory boards and subcommittees as well would be meeting in person, as would the city council. However, of course, we have to see if it will play out that way and if anything may change, because some of the way those policies and requirements are written could potentially change. We just don't know what to predict. But of course, just wanted to make you all aware of that we're watching that, but we don't know which way it will go in terms of the orders for our local order for the city of Winston-Salem, as well as our statewide order from Governor Cooper. So that was what we were discussing. That is what Chair Leak was referencing. So just heads up for that. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to attempt to address those questions. However, this really is the information that I have is very limited at the time, because pending any further actions from the mayor or the governor, there's just not a lot more to say about that. But just be thinking about that and just be aware. And of course, we all know too that the subvariant pandemic numbers are on the rise, of course, over in Asia and Europe. And the United States, I do believe, has been given a heads up to potentially anticipate a rise in our numbers as well, from what I've been reading. And so we just want to keep all of those factors in mind. But, and I would advise and suggest that the commission keep that at the forefront of your mind too, because really, if it comes down to it, and if you all are ever given an option, I think that it would behoove you to, just think about all the different angles. It would be great to be in person, of course, but we also want to be mindful of those with underlying health conditions or any other risk factors that we need to consider. People are in different and various statuses, such as whether or not they may be with child, or, there are lots of other things that are going on. So we just want to be mindful as a staff, as a department, and then I would just encourage the commission maybe to think along those lines as well. But we'll keep you posted. Right now, like I said, there's nothing else to really tell other than we're watching those orders.
Thank you, Ms. Wanda. And I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that, but
Oh, no, you're fine, Shirley.
Yes, ma'am. But I knew that you could speak more clearly about it, since you and I was having that conversation this afternoon. And so, I do ask the commission, I'm sorry, I am asking the commission to just think about, when that time comes, that I know that we all want to, see each other. And I know if you like me, you are always in Zoom meetings throughout the day. But at the same time, we do want to be safe, because we don't know how the variant or COVID is going to affect a person. And so with that said, when that time comes, let's just be mindful. Let's not think about ourselves, but let's think about others around us on this commission as well. Because I do remember meeting in person at the Bryce Stewart building. We were side by side. I don't know if they even have those partitioners up, those glass partitioners like they do at the city hall where city council meets. because I haven't been down there. But anyways, let's just, let's be conscious of that as well. Even though, like I said, I know we want to, be back in person and meet, each other and see each other. But at the same time, I do want all of us to be safe. I want us to be safe, and I want us to also be aware of that COVID has not ended yet. It is still out. It's still out here. So I think this is year number 3 that we're still in this pandemic. So, anyways, when that time comes, we have, again, it's up to the city council, but those are some options that we could actually revisit, and we can see how it will please the commission as well. So that's the only update I had. I wanted to Miss Wanda Alvarado to speak on that because that's just important, and I don't want no one to be blindsided by it when it's time for us to have that discussion as well. So moving next to our next item is our committee reports, and which is community relations, which is Commissioner Sarton. And I'm sorry, it sounds like my voice is in and out, but my allergies have been off the chain this week, so that's why I'm a little raspy. And this commissioner. Okay, all right, Jamie.
I'll go ahead and take it. I don't believe Commissioner Sarton is here. So 2 things, trust talks. There will be 2 upcoming trust talks. We'll be holding a Hispanic trust talks in May and a LGBTQIA plus trust talks in June. More details will be forthcoming to sign up to participate and help with those. The Winston-Salem Pride Festival is scheduled for Saturday, June 18th from 10:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. on Trade Street. The Human Relations, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department will have a vendor booth, and we are a sponsor of the event.
All right. And is it okay? Is that all that report? It is? Okay. All right. So you've heard the report for the community relations. Is there any comments or questions? All right. So we're going to move to item B, which is the executive report. And I do have some updates on my end as one of the executive officers for the commission. And the first one is, I have 3 of them. The first one is that some of our veteran commissioners, you all will be aware of this when I bring this up in a minute. But to some of our new commissioners, just follow me with this as well. So we have been approached by the city of Lexington to consider reassuming my annual Triad HRC retreat. And so we did host a retreat here in Winston, 2019, 18, can't even remember. 2018, yeah, 2018. Well, and we host the retreat at Salem Lake, the Marina Center. And so we have been advised that August 19th at Salem Lake is available if we consider doing a in-person retreat, but also partnering with Lexington Commission. But anyway, let's say it. So we are asking to see, is there any availability or willingness for us to host a triad-wide in-person gathering? And so I'm just putting that out there to all the commissioners. That date is August the 19th, which possibly could be that in-person retreat with Lexington Human Relations. I remember in 2018 we had Greensboro and High Point, right? Yeah.
Yes, we have Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem, I think maybe Lexington, and I don't remember if we had Thomasville and Burlington, but the triad-wide retreat would not just include Lexington this summer. It would include probably those same entities or whomever the HRC would like to invite.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it could possibly be, again, Greensboro and High Point.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, with that said, we just finished talking about COVID, in regards to, if we want to meet in person or how we're going to do that, how it pleases the city council. But I addressed this to the commission to see how do you all feel about it. I guess, Ms. Wanda, if the commission does agree, and does that make the decision concrete that we couldn't go back?
It's your retreat. You are in total control. So if you decide, hey, the numbers aren't looking too good to us by August, or if for whatever reason, it doesn't even have to be based on the pandemic, just for any reason, if you all collectively decide that you'd rather not go that route, it's okay. We were looking at you all having it at Salem Lake in that humongous room so that you could spread out and we could open doors if we had to. We could even go outside if we had to. So we were looking at the Salem Lake facility for the retreat, should you decide to go that route and try to plan for an in-person triad-wide retreat. And I know that bringing in other entities outside of yourselves, it could possibly open up the risk of getting additional germs, but it was just something for you all to think about. We've been approached, and we get approached quite a bit for guidance for what our Human Relations Commission is doing. Lexington has even asked to see a copy of your strategic action plan. And so, and by the way, it's time for you all to, I think, update that strategic action plan this year. It's good for 2 years. And they are looking to you all for guidance, and they use you all as a model for what they're trying to accomplish with their own commissions. And I think that's why they would really appreciate getting together with you in that type of setting and being able to learn from you, brainstorm, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So I am asking the commission tonight, what are your thoughts, comments in regards to maybe having an in-person retreat? I do remember last year we had our retreat last year, and it was different, because we completed our strategic plan, and that was long, but we made it through. We did, but at the same time, though, I do want us to be safe. So, any comments, discussion?
Yeah, I know I think the last time that we met in person, I want to say was 2019, but I could be off on that. But I know the first year that I joined the commission, we decided to not do a combined retreat and to just do a retreat on our own. And our main reasoning was that we had just had quite a bit of turnover. There were a number of new people on the commission. There were a number of people who had just had to retire, or drop off, or move away, and we felt that it was a good time for us to just try to reset and get to know each other and get familiar with the issues facing Winston-Salem and so on. But I feel like we're in a more stable place now, which is crazy to say amidst the global pandemic. So I'm sure that we would be even more stable if all of this had not happened. But I think this is a good time and a good opportunity to go ahead and reach out if we're comfortable with adding extra people in a possible person-to-person. But as we just said, we would have that control to say, whoa, things have gotten worse, not better. We're gonna need to call this off. So I would be in favor at this time of the words, to tentatively plan to open doors and meet with others and brainstorm, kind of get some other ideas in. Not that I think we're necessarily short on them, but you can always get different perspectives. And so yeah, at this point, I'd love to meet with Lexington and see who else was interested in joining us. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I agree with Josh. I think I would be excited to hear what the other cities are doing and where we're at. I think it's great that we're looked at as a resource for the other cities. I think getting it on the calendar and planning for it, and is there a possibility of having a virtual backup plan just in case, so that we have both in place, and when we get closer to August, we can make that decision based on what's going on in the environment.
Thank you.
Certainly. Vice Chair Thompson, definitely we could have that as a plan B. I don't think that that would be too difficult to do, to have the virtual platform as a backup. So thank you. We'll make note of that. And Chair Leak, I think Commissioner Wiggins has her hand raised.
Yes, I was about to acknowledge her, Commissioner Wiggins.
I'm going to defer that if we can meet virtual, I am all in agreement to meeting virtual and planning with other HRCs. And my reason is, is for COVID. I have to travel periodically to visit with my mother because she is sick. And so if there is a way for us to meet virtual, I would defer to meeting virtual if it is at all possible.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Well, I'm going to concur what Commissioner Wiggins said as well. It's not that I am trying to always remain virtual, but at the same time, I have a 10-month-old baby, a daughter as well. Well, she'll be a year and something after that. But at the end of the day, I want to be safe as well. So I'm just going to say that however the numbers look in August, hopefully we will see some stabilization. But at the same time, I am still concerned in regards to gathering in back in groups. That's been my concern, even with my personal job as well. I also know that some faith bases have went back to church. Mine have not went back. It will be like that for the foreseeable future. So I'm just concerned still about how COVID can affect one person. And so with that said, I'm just going to remain in the spirit of voting for virtual. And especially since that we're going to have other groups involved with the retreat.
So Chair Leak, I think that if you wanted to call for a vote, and it could be two different votes, one for whether or not you all are willing to do a triad-wide HRC retreat, the other as to whether or not that retreat should be virtual or in person, tentatively. Again, all of this is tentative.
Okay, so we're voting on to do a triad retreat, and the second one is do a virtual retreat.
Virtual or in person, either.
In person. Okay.
The commissioners would vote one or the other, virtual
okay.
or person. And we'll count. We'll do a count, right, Carlin?
But it's two separate votes. It's two separate motions, right?
Yes, I think it should be.
Okay, all right. The first motion on the table is there a motion to agree to host a triad retreat, HRC retreat? Is that correct?
You would need someone to make that motion.
Yes, that's what I'm calling for. Is there a motion from the commission?
I make a motion that we offer to host a triad-wide retreat.
Okay, thank you. Motion by Vice Chair Commissioner Thompson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Taylor. Commissioner Wiggins? Got to vote yay or nay?
Nay.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Price?
Aye. Yay.
Commissioner Vice Chair Thompson?
Aye.
Commissioner Preble?
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor?
Aye.
And Chair Leak, I'm voting yay as well. But we're only voting on in regards to host the not host, but to have a trial retreat, correct?
Correct. That was not the virtual versus in person.
Correct. All right. I want to make that clear. All right. Are there any discussions? Any opposed? Excuse me. All right. The ayes have it.
You had one opposed.
Oh, I'm sorry. You had one opposed. Okay, that's right. Commissioner Wiggins. I'm sorry. It's very seldom that we have opposed sometimes, but okay, thank you. All right, well, that motion carries. All right, is there a motion to, is there a motion on the table in regards to host the event virtual or in person?
I will make a motion to host the triad-wide retreat virtually.
All right, there's a motion by Commissioner Price. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Preble has second. Okay, Commissioner Taylor,
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Wiggins.
Nay. I'm sorry, make sure that I'm voting correctly. This is to have it in person.
No,
It's to have it
Virtual. Okay, then aye.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Preble, did you go?
No, not yet, but I.
All right, Chair Lee, aye as well. Any opposed? Any discussion? All right, the ayes have it. All right, so it looks like we're going to have a virtual retreat again. So, you know, since we all have agreed to do so, let's make sure that we all are attuned up to the at the retreat. Our cameras are on, and I know Ms. Wanda Alvarez, she will call us out. So make so, but at the same time, hopefully we'll be able to do some stretches or something, you know. But with that said, let's just make sure that we are being committed to the retreat and having a great discussion as well. So,
and Chair Leak, we have a trainer extraordinaire in Shane Taylor. I'm sure Shane will have you all doing something engaging or come up with something to keep you all on your toes so that you're not just listening to a bunch of people talking in the squares, right, Shane? He does a really good job with city employees with training. He has them doing all kinds of stuff. I'm sure he'll do it with you.
We will hold them to that. Yes, we'll hold them to that. All right. Thank you all so much for that. All right. The second thing is, I got two more items. The second thing is that you all should have received an email from Ms. Wanda Allen-Abraham in regards to the NCHRC virtual statewide meeting on March the 29th. I don't know if anyone have already commit to that meeting. I know I have commit to it. But please, if you are wanting to attend, please make sure that you do reply to the email. I don't know if there was a cutoff notice of, on the email, Ms. Wanda, or not, in regards to when we need to, if somebody wanted to attend, when to reply.
I think Mr. Troy may have put a deadline date in the email, but I don't have it pulled up in front of me right now.
He did. I think there is a deadline date. I can't recall when it is. I think it's maybe the 28th. And then once they implement the deadline cutoff date, that's when they will send all of the Zoom link and information.
Okay. All right. So, commissioners, please, if you can, please attend. You don't have to be a executive officer to attend. Since you are a commissioner, you are also privy to the information that has been discussed on the state HRC level as well. So, if you are interested in attending, please make sure that you reply back as soon as possible. And if you are like me, you receive a lot of emails during the day, I'm sure that Jamie, one of the staff members, can actually resend the email again, just in case if your email has been lost in the archive. So I know we do receive a lot of emails, especially so most of us are working remotely. But anyway, with that said, if you're interested in attending, please make every attempt to reply as soon as possible. All right. The third thing is that it looks like we're going to have another virtual Fair Housing Month, which will be on, we recognize Fair Housing Month on April the 1st. And so I will provide some more additional updates in my report as the chair of the Fair Horizons Committee. But so it looks like we're going to have another virtual Fair Housing Summit. So with that said, we will not be having any lunch again for 2 years. No buffet. But at the same time, though, we got to keep it safe. So we can't have it our way both ways. So those were my executive updates. And at this time, I don't see Commissioner Haynes, but is there a hearing board update?
Not at present, Chair League. No updates from the hearing board.
All right. Okay. At this time, we're going to hear from Commissioner Preble for the multicultural relations.
Yeah, I actually do have two updates today. The first one being that the building integrated communities pipeline sessions will resume on April 20th via Zoom from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Feel free to register if you're interested in learning more about the big pipeline sessions. And the second being Juneteenth celebration. The Juneteenth celebration will be held on June 18th at Bailey Park from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Human Relations, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department will have information table in the biotech place from 1 to 5. There will also be music, food, craft vendors, educational sessions, and more throughout the day. So I hope to see all of you or most of you there.
Thank you. And I did notice that there was some signups. There was a sign-up email that has been circulated as well. So if you can attend, please sign up to work a shift that day for Juneteenth celebration. So.
And Chair Leak, we also we're also a sponsor for the Pride Festival, which is that same day. And so you've seen signups for both, for the Pride event and for Juneteenth. Mm-hmm. And Commissioner Preble, I'm not sure if Pride was included with dates or not, but that's definitely something that's on the same day.
Yeah, I'm excited for both. I need to figure out how to be in two places at once.
I know. Yes, I'm not real sure how that happened this year with Pride being scheduled for the very same day as Juneteenth, because, you know, of course, with Juneteenth, it's going to pretty much be the same every year. You know, the official date is June 19th. So I'm not sure how that happened. Mm-hmm. But we are sponsors of both. So just
that comes from what end in regards to making that decision to host it on the same day?
Well, I guess the organizers for the Pride Festival and parade, and then of course, organizers for Juneteenth, which, you know, like I mentioned, is going to be pretty much the same every year because of the way the holiday is set. But in the past, in years past, the Pride Festival and parade were usually held in October. But this year they decided to do that actually during the month of Pride. It's a Pride month. You know, that's what June is nationally. But here locally, they never really celebrated it in June with the parade and the festival. They always did it in October. They said primarily because of the weather, you know, it would be a little hot. And so they would just wait and hold it in the fall. But this year they decided to switch up. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Preble. Is there any questions or comments for the Multicultural Relations Commission? Committee. All right. At this time is the New Horizons Fair Housing, which is the committee that I also chair as well. And so the 2022 Fair and Affordable Housing Summit will resume in 2022, but also will resume in April. And so we've already been having discussion on the committee level in regards to how that's going to look, and also making sure that it's not just going to be just a discussion in regards to fair housing and the right of having fair housing as well in our city, but also there's going to be some success stories as well that's going to be mentioned in regards to how some organizations have been able to provide affordability housing for residents in the city as well. And so be looking out for that as well. I did miss I think I missed 2 meetings then, Miss Wanda.
I think so. I know you were at the last meeting and you might have joined a little late. So I don't know if you heard the topics that were going to be covered this year for the summit.
No, I was going in and out. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the topics for this year's summit will include eviction diversion, neighborhood stabilization. Also, there's a project that's on Hardesty Lane that the Enterprise Center, or SG Atkins rather, has been involved in with some other partners. So that's going to be a focus. And then the fair housing focus is going to be on affirmatively furthering fair housing, which of course is a policy that trickles down from the federal government that was actually created by the Obama administration. It was somewhat reduced or rendered ineffective during the Trump administration, but during the Biden administration it's been reinstated. And so there's going to be discussion about what that policy means. What does it mean for communities in terms of what are the requirements for communities receiving federal funding in terms of ensuring that fair housing is being affirmatively furthered. So there are certain actions that communities should take that receive money, whether it's through CDBG grant funding or through FAP funding or other resources, to ensure that barriers to fair housing have been removed, or at least they're being addressed. So that's going to be some discussion as well. And so we do have speakers, I think, already lined up for that, which is from Legal Aid of North Carolina for the AFFH. And then Carol Davis will be speaking about the Hardesty Lane project. And Dr. Craig Richardson is going to be talking about neighborhood stabilization. And then we have Jerry Anderson. Do I have that backwards, Jamie? Jerry Anderson, neighborhood stabilization. Okay. But anyway, we also have Dr. Craig Richardson talking about some affordable housing projects that they have done through his CSEM program at Winston-Salem State University.
That's right. And the Fair Housing Summit is on April
21st.
21st, that's right. Yeah, April 21st. Yeah. And I do want to say that, did someone have a comment? Okay, I do want to say as well that in regards to the eviction diversion, that what that has actually was really birthed out of the human relations. We are the commission, but out of the from the staff end anyways. But I do want to say kudos to the staff as well, because when the pandemic actually hit, we just didn't have really nothing in place, a infrastructure, and so there was so many questionable concerns in regards to is there rent assistance, is there utility assistance, and so I have been thankful to be a part of that group, because there are a plethora of individuals who serve different capacities, from DSS, from ESR, from crisis control, in regards to talking about what are some of the concerns they are hearing from the community, but also in regards to how to better the process, because we do know that there was a delay in some of the structure in regards to individuals receiving monetarily payments to help pay for their rent or their utilities. So this is new to all of us as well. But I will say that from the individuals that I have referred to those agencies, from the conversations that have been made at the eviction diversion meeting, that they have been pleased as well. And so I know those meetings are still open to the commissioners. I do want to make that statement publicly, is that this is that the eviction diversion group is only invite only. It's not stating that we're trying to block the community out, but at the same time, we've already had the stakeholders and those individuals who serve different capacities in regards to working with working with all residents and hearing their concerns, and hopes that we can help continue on bettering the process of what's going on in regards to evictions or utilities assistance as well. And so, with that said, if there are any commissioners that who would like to attend those meetings, I will ask you to attend as well to hear about what's going on in regards to tenant, not tenant, I'm sorry, evictions as well in regards to um, um, residents that who are faced with hardships as well. And so I do want to say kudos to the staff as well. I really appreciate Ms. Wanda for you your staff putting that together because it really has benefit not just a certain population, but I believe it's benefit the entirely population of Winston-Salem because now individuals are knowing in regards to that there is a system in place that they can be able to gain assistance. And I do remember that someone said at DSS that there is also office. I mean, the office is also open after hours as well. So residents can also come to the clinic and apply for services for utilities or whatever their needs may be. So it's not just an 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 situation. And so let's continue on spreading the word. If you know anybody that who is faced with a hardship, let them know that there are resources that are still available, especially while we are still seeing the money flow through our city as well. And so we do know that people read information different, they receive information different, but at the same time, if we are receiving the information as commissioners, we should be able to deliver it to someone that who is in need as well. Did I say that right, Ms. Wanda?
Absolutely, Chair Leak, and just to clarify, the Eviction Diversion Network is comprised of service providers.
Yes,
so
sir.
really we're talking about those who directly provide housing or housing services to both landlords and tenants. So it's not just for landlords or just for tenants, but actually, like I said, it's not the tenants and landlords per se, but it's those organizations that represent them. And so we're talking about the service providers, legal aid, DSS, and others. And so that's who you will see as a part of that network. And we're also really happy to share with you all, and I think I've already done this, but just to say so publicly, that we were really thrilled to receive a statewide award for our Eviction Diversion Network from United Way. And so, yes, it was United Way of North Carolina who conferred the Spirit of North Carolina Award on the Eviction Diversion Network program here that we were able to get started. And so it's really a good thing, and we're really proud of it. And so United Way will be coming over to City Hall next week to do like a photo op. Legal aid will come over, and they've actually received the trophy because, of course, as with everything else, it was virtual. So we're going to actually get the physical trophy next week. And so we'll make sure to share that photo and whatever else they give us with you all. I'll email you. But definitely, yes, we do want commissioners to feel free to join if you want to drop in and just listen to what's being discussed. Always very robust discussions. Usually the meetings don't last more than an hour. We try to keep it moving, but you will hear the community partners sharing really critical information that could be to the benefit of landlords and tenants.
And they're every other Thursday, correct?
Every other Thursday at 11 a.m. And we will also be getting that eviction diversion program, the Right to Counsel program started, which came out of the Eviction Diversion Network. That was a byproduct of that consortium. And so that's a really good thing too, to make sure that we make the community aware of when the time is right. So Legal Aid is working on that, and we're partnering with them on that as well, to have an attorney who is dedicated just to eviction diversion. So there are a lot of things coming out of it.
Good stuff.
Thank you. All right, so that was my report. Student Human Relations, Commissioner Wiggins.
So the virtual forum was held for February 24th for the Student Relations Forum. And since we have been conducting the forum virtually for the past 2 years, this we had the most views ever. Think prior to now, I think the day of, I think we had a little over 300 views, and I think it's up to 500, maybe a little bit more than 5 now, since it's been up on the website. So that is a great thing. Was a little challenging some this year because there has been such a huge turnover within the Winston-Salem Forsyth County school system, and so we had a lot of new principals, we had a lot of new counselors that were just not aware of the program, but nevertheless, networking with Jamie and myself and working with the other schools, we were able to get all of the schools to submit a candidate, and I think it will just be up to us to continue to educate the new staff about the student relations banquet. So very well attended. The children, these kids they have foresight already, and they are engaged in community service and humanitarian acts. And when you read their bios, they are just some really bright and compassionate young people. And to be able to award and recognize the work that they're doing, the vision that they have every year is amazing. And that concludes my report.
And Commissioner Wiggins, just thank you to you. And just to be clear for this was what we always call the Human Relations Student Awards Banquet, but of course no banquet this year because it was virtual, but major kudos and thanks to you and to former Commissioner Pam Peoples-Joyner, of course, the staff, Jamie, Myra, Eleanor, they worked really well together to pull together the student bios and scripts, and Eleanor is such an editor. I mean, I feel really happy to have someone else on staff who kind of nitpicks and things like that, because nitpicking is good, isn't it, Eleanor, when we're talking about writing? And so anyway, it was just a great team effort. And so, and yes, every year we have outstanding students that we honor. These kids are cream of the crop. And we want to publicly thank the Winston-Salem Forsyth County school system as well, because of course, without their cooperation, we could not do this program every year. And of course, as a person, we usually have 600 people in attendance. And so it's really good to know that the numbers look pretty strong as well for the virtual format.
Yes, and as well to thank Larry Bell and his team. I know we count on him for so much, but he really comes through for us every time, and as well as getting the entertainment, and to Principal Wise for being our speaker as well as the principal of the year. It was great learning about him and to know that all of his children, he had the privilege of being their principal and handing out their diplomas each year that they have come through Mount Tabor. So it was very interesting, and always it's a good thing honoring students, young people.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so we're going downward and we're moving forward with Director's Update.
Okay, thank you, Chair League. Well, in terms of the staff, everyone has been really busy, and as you can imagine, and we are doing the best we can in this new world that we're in, with being on site for certain things and being remote for others. But everyone is doing a really good job from what I can tell with keeping up with workload and doing what needs to be done to accomplish our goals and objectives. And we are right now in the process of hopefully getting a paid intern on staff pretty soon. We're in the process of that. We've already completed an interview with the paid intern, potential paid intern. And so hoping to have that person on board in the coming weeks. And so we will keep you apprised of that. But anyway, we're just really excited about that piece. In terms of HUD updates, we don't have too many HUD updates other than the fact that, of course, we're on our toes with HUD, and they make sure we're on our toes too. And we have been in the process of wrapping up an outreach grant with HUD. And Jamie has been busy with keeping the monitor for that grant apprised and letting her know what we're accomplishing in terms of having fair housing bus ads and other things that we said we would do in terms of fair housing work accomplished. We've done radio ads, we've done social media ads. And so all of those items were part of our statement of work that we submitted to HUD when we competed for and received the grant. And so that is moving along well, and we're actually about to wrap all of that work up. So anyway, those are pretty much the updates in terms of our staff and in terms of HUD. Oh, I'm totally remiss, Eleanor, my apologies. We do want to acknowledge, and some of you who were on before the meeting started, we do want to acknowledge that Miss Eleanor will be leaving us for a little while anyway, because she is about to welcome her new baby. And we just want to say congratulations to her. And that has certainly not slowed her down at all. She continues to do all kinds of things. And so we really do appreciate her, because she is not a joke at all. She just has not missed a beat, even though. And so Eleanor, we just want to wish you well, because of course, in April, I don't think the commission is set to meet due to the summit. And so when they see you again, it could be well after the fact at the May meeting. So congratulations to you, Eleanor.
Thank you so much. That's very kind.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Eleanor.
Thank you.
Yes. And so I just wanted to mention that. And moving on, I think that was it, Chair Lee, as far as what I had to say, but I know the staff has plenty more to share with you.
And congratulations again, Eleanor. I just remember when it was my turn, so I'll be praying for you as well. So get all the sleep you can, all the sleep you can, all the sleep. It's no vacation, but if you have a village like I had a village, you're gonna be just fine. But still get all the sleep you can right now, because them are 2 hours. I don't miss that. So thank you so much, Ms. Wanda, for that. All right, now our staff reports, and it's time. I see all our staff members online tonight, so I won't skip over staff reports, because I know we are eager to hear from each one of you all. So we're going to start with our fair housing and landlord tenant updates.
I imagine that's me, Commissioner Chair Leak. I am going to give you the numbers for February. Now we are at February at 372 cases in total that we have received. In the month of February, we were in January too, we were really low with calls. It has been a slow start of this year. In February, we had 25 calls. And just so you have an idea, if we have less than 40, it's really a slow month. So that was February. And we have one case closed when it comes to fair housing complaints, but we also, this March, I think we're going to have a new case. And of course, we are in 6 cases so far of when it comes to fair housing. So that completes my report. Thank you. If anybody has a question, please. I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any quick comments for Adolfo? All right. Our diversity, equity, and inclusion updates.
Hi, good evening, commissioners.
Good evening.
It's so great to see you. Thank you, Commissioner Leak. I am Brittany Piss. I'm sure I've met most of you before. However, if I have not, I am the Equity Assurance Administrator for our lovely department. So I serve on the DEI division along with Shane Taylor and Myra Ramirez. So they're on this call as well. The DEI team has been working diligently on several initiatives that serve our internal needs. For first and foremost, we've been doing a lot of reports. So we have a 6-month DEI report that will be available soon that speaks to our progress since from September of last year to March 1st of this year. Additionally, I believe when we last spoke, we mentioned the employee equity survey. So the survey has launched and it has closed. It was from February to March. So that report will be available to you soon as well. This report is basically a thorough breakdown of the survey itself and its findings, and it includes general recommendations for our city officials. So hopefully that they will, utilize this as a way to address the equity concerns that were shared amongst city employees. Also, we've been conducting monthly trainings. So these are our cultural competency trainings. It is for all city employees. We've been averaging around 40 to 50 employees who have been registering to attend these trainings. And again, these are introductory trainings on topics that fall within our protected classes of persons. So last month, Mr. Shane Taylor, he presented on race. And then for this month, he actually yesterday presented on sexism in the workplace. And then the topic for next month will be religion and spirituality. So kudos to Shane for getting these trainings done. He has been getting a lot of participation. So it's just so great to finally have him, on board, knocking these trainings out for us. And he has a lot of great things in store for the trainings, as well as his facilitation of the equity core team. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention that we have been just striving overall to bring awareness of DEI to the organizations by way of newsletters, flyers, brochures. We have a lovely equity calendar. So thanks to Myra for working on all of those things. And she is also our web editor. So she's been fixing our website for us as well, and just always assisting the team in any capacity, in any way that we need her. So she does a little bit of everything. So we're grateful to have her on our team as well. So those are a few highlights for just a few things that we've been working on lately. Of course, let us know if you have any questions or, just want to talk.
Thank you. And I did miss that training, so I'm sure that you all make sure that if we want to, because commissioners can attend the training, correct? We can? Oh.
Okay. Yeah, so it's for our internal City of Winston-Salem employees only. And I did want to mention, we did, for the employees who register who cannot attend, we do send a recording out to them so that they can have that available. But unfortunately, it is only for our lovely employees.
Okay, well, I was trying to sneak us in now. Okay,
okay, all right.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate that.
No worries.
Okay, all right. Any comments or questions? Thank you.
Well, Chair League, I think the next report will address what you're trying to do and what you would like to do in terms of attending trainings that pertain to the protected class of persons. I think that will be addressed in the next report.
Okay. All right. Item C, public accommodations and employment non-discrimination updates.
That's me. Hello again, everybody.
Good evening.
Well, we've gotten a lot done since we last spoke in January. We've added a bunch of information to the website about the NDOs and about the protected classes, and I can put that link in the chat if you want to check it out. We've also created a brochure with quite a lot of information on it and a briefer flyer just to get the word out. Starting to distribute those in the community. We've got them in all the rec centers now. We're putting them out at various events. We'll have them at the job fair tomorrow. And we're looking into putting them into more places out in the community as time goes on. We have finished the training materials for the first training session. And the first one is just sort of an overview of the NDOs. But after that, we're going to be working on, as you asked for, trainings on the individual protected classes. So that is still in process, but it's definitely something that we're doing, and Drashonta's taken the lead on that. And we have been getting the word out in various ways. You may have seen a lot of social media posts from the city of Winston-Salem in the last month about the NDOs. We've also got an ad running on WSTV 13. Drashanta recorded a lovely message that you can hear if you get put on hold and you call the city. We are also looking into paid options. We've got some various options together, just trying to figure out what fits in the budget. Yes, fits in the budget best. We're looking at possibly doing mail outs, paid social media ads, which are different from the ones that we've done, because those were just seen by people who followed the city's website, Facebook page, and paid ones would go to everybody. We may do billboards. We're looking into bus ads. We're going to do as much as we can that the budget will allow. And as far as investigations, we did finally get our first complaint. I mean, not hooray, but kind of hooray, you know. And it's a public accommodations complaint based on disability. So we have been able to get into that. We have all of the templates for the letters and everything done. So it's been good to actually be able to use it and apply all of our work and hopefully help someone out.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Adolfo. Thank you, Eleanor, for the wonderful updates. And so I'm hoping that we didn't leave anything out. Well, we did have the story about the department on Spectrum News. So that was something that kind of, and we had some actresses in there. Our male counterparts were not in the office that day. And so I do believe we had Shanta and Eleanor and Myra in that. And I don't remember who else. I know the three of them were, that might have been it. So hopefully you all have seen that. And it's on the city's Facebook page now as well. So that was a good way to have the department exposed on a statewide news channel, because it was broadcast all over the state.
I forgot to mention, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I forgot to mention that Shanta also has scheduled the first NDO trainings, and we do have a calendar if you want to see that. Should I share the screen? Because we weren't able to send that out in advance. Do that. So you can see there's the first training, second training. Things are in process, slowly but surely. We are getting there.
Absolutely. And commissioners, we can send this calendar out to you via email. Carlin, could you please make sure that you send this to the HRC, and then you'll have that copy. Yes, thumbs up. Okay, thank you, Carlin.
Thank you so much. Shane, Deshanta, do y'all want to have any comments, or y'all wanted to defer to your colleagues?
I think that Eleanor covered everything that she needed to cover. I think we're trying to make sure that we have a couple of trainings a month. So the calendar that you will receive is a bit incomplete. It doesn't mention the LGBTQ trust talks that Jamie mentioned earlier, and it doesn't have the trainings listed after the month of April. But beyond that, I think that my colleague Eleanor so eloquently covered everything in terms of updates and the NDO.
Okay, thank you. Shay, you good?
Yep, Brittany covered everything going on diversity and inclusion right now, so I have nothing more I could add.
Okay, good. Well, we just want to hear y'all voices. All right. Okay. All right. Well, before we close, I guess I can say this, that, just to, as a veteran commissioner that's been on the commission for some time now, just to see the expansion of the staff, it's just remarkable. It really is. So thank you all so much for all the hard work that you're doing and coming in and just hitting the pavement, moving and making these connections, because, when you walking into a new position, it is hard. It's hard. You got to make connections, and, you got to put yourself out there. It's almost like you're like a salesperson, right? And so, anyways, I want to say kudos to all of you all. And I'm not going to call your names because I don't want nobody to feel left out. So, because I'm looking at the screen, so I don't, want to miss anybody. But I want to say on behalf of Chair Leak, I appreciate all of the hard work that you all are doing, and also most importantly for covering Miss Wanda Allen Abraham as you all director. And so, you know, I know working together is not always good, but at the end of the day, you know, we all have the purpose of making sure that we are serving the constituents of Winston-Salem. So there's going to be good days and bad days as well, but that's anywhere. And I don't know why I'm saying this, but it's a reason why I'm probably saying this. But anyways, with that said, thank you all for all your hard work that you all are doing, and I really appreciate it. And hopefully, Ms. Wanda Allen, because we cannot and we will not have our retreat, maybe we can take a field trip as commissioners to see the new suite. Maybe we can set that up and maybe have some subs afterwards. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay, Commissioner Wiggins.
Hey, I concur with you, Robert, but I have a question, and it pertains to the NDO, and I think the subcommittee is doing a great job. I know they're preparing to submit a report to us, but I have a question to put before us, and that is in regards to the other protected classes. I know currently that we are working to put together the report for the LGBTQIA community, but I wanted to see how can we look at, or have we thought about making sure that we are encompassing, providing information for all protected classes. I know the staff just talked about, you know, events that we will be having, but I also want to make sure that we have the same narrative that we are putting out to the community. And I think, you know, again, the more publicity we bring to the NDO, it's going to be great. But I want to, is there a plan for us to put together a different committee for other protected classes that fall under the NDO, or just have we even given thought to how we would prepare and make sure that everyone is represented under the NDO? Is that something that we've given thoughts to? Because I want to make sure that we are clear in our communication to the residents. I don't want the report for us to have just one report that we are presenting to City Council for one particular class and not make sure that we are providing the same information and education for all other classes that are protected. Can someone, Wanda, anyone speak to that, Chair Lee?
Okay, well, we can have a discussion. We can have discussion, Commissioner Wiggins.
I just want to, because the report is coming due, and I think we have a responsibility because it came from our department that we put a narrative together that it speaks cohesively as one. So. Okay, all right. Okay, we can have a discussion. Wanda.
Chair Leak, Commissioner Wiggins, I think what I'm hearing is that you acknowledge the fact that this particular NDO study subcommittee's focus is on the LGBTQIA+ community, and their areas of focus for recommendations for this report are focused on the 3 protected classes of persons that pertain to them, you know, being gender identity, sexual orientation, and so. But anyway, I understand that. But what I think what you're wanting to know is what about the other 16 protected classes of persons? So it's not 16, actually, it's going to be 13. And there's nothing that would preclude the department or the commission from being able to have a similar type of format with individuals who belong to those other protected classes to come forward with their list of recommendations and to also work together and to also produce a report. I think a good way to look at it could be that this particular group has already created a blueprint. They've created an example for what some of the other groups may want to use as a way to plug their information in to a more official format so that the city can be aware of what some of those gaps and needs may be with respect to those areas as well. So for instance, we have the other protected classes such as national origin, race, disability, and so on, veterans. We could have reports that are similar in nature from each of those groups as well. And then for those groups that kind of overlap and are similar, perhaps they could work together so it wouldn't actually end up being 13, 14 different reports, but be kind of, we could use the format that we are currently developing as an example, kind of like a prototype. What you're saying, and hopefully what I said kind of addresses what you're looking for. Is I am on track? Okay.
I think, like I said, the subcommittee, I've sat in on several meetings and I think they are doing a fantastic job. I'm loving what I'm hearing. I just want to make sure that we are communicating effectively. And so I think you addressed my concerns. And so what would be our next steps to move forward?
Well, it would just be a matter, I suppose, of the HRC discussing this and making a recommendation that perhaps there could be other groups that could emulate this example. And then maybe the HRC could even talk about the overlap and maybe recommend ways in which some of these other protected classes could be combined or work together for that particular report. So again, like I said, if you're talking about race and color, for instance, perhaps those two could be kind of meshed together and they could work together on something like that. And but anyway, I think it would just be a matter of a recommendation from the Human Relations Commission, perhaps to the City Council. I don't even know that it would be necessary to go that far, and I could certainly look into that part for you. But I think it would be initiated by you all if you want to recommend something like that.
Okay, that would be great. So we would have to, can we wait until you find out if we need to go before the City Council before we look at making a vote, or we can table it for our next meeting? Or
what I would recommend you all do is think about exactly what it is that you want. And then I can certainly take that information back within City Hall to find out, okay, what direction can we go in? What authority does the commission have? Because you may have the authority resting with you, yourselves, to go ahead and say, we want to establish some other subcommittees to do what the NDO study subcommittee has done with the LGBTQIA+ community. You may have that authority already, but that's something that I do want to double check, because of course, that particular subcommittee was created by the City Council. But maybe because that format and that's already been established and it's already in place, perhaps the thing to do would be, okay, now that that particular group is done, they can migrate off, and then those seats can be filled by others who would be focusing on something different, on a different protected class. So work that way, but that's the part I just have to find out about.
Okay. So how would we, I know you say as the HRC, so how would we have the opportunity to discuss that prior to our next meeting? Can we do that, or do we have to wait until our next meeting to have that discussion and present that information so that you can take it forward?
Well, I think that's up to you all. You can decide whether or not you want to have a meeting in April. I think that you all had voted not to, if I'm not mistaken, but if you didn't, you could do that. If not, you could call a special meeting, or you could wait until May. Or what I could do is maybe suggest that you all vote tonight to have me to go back and find out if you have the authority to go ahead and move forward with discussing and selecting the next group that could come along and follow the prototype that this first group has already established. You could do that.
Okay, well, I know Commissioner Price chairs the committee, right?
Commissioner Price and Vice Chair Thompson co-chair.
Co-chair. Okay, well, can I hear from both of you all as well, if there are any comments?
Sure. I mean, I can echo and maybe provide a little bit more context around what Director Alan Abraha had just said, which is this current subcommittee was created by City Council specifically for this LGBTQIA+ population. But what I'm hearing, and it sounds like a wonderful idea, is that either in conjunction, like in parallel with this, or as this committee kind of comes to a stop, that we start up a new one, which we would then discuss now or next meeting or so on, as far as what that new subcommittee could be, which protected classes we would be focusing on, and so on. And so I believe what we've just said is the Director Ellen Abraha would be looking for us to give her a formal recommendation, a motion and a vote to go ahead and go get that information as to whether or not we have the authority to start a new subcommittee on our own. And then also we can decide essentially when we want to discuss this, like when we want to have a conversation about what other subcommittee we might have, whether or not we would desire it to run in parallel, like go ahead and get it started soon, or whether we would wait for the current subcommittee to close down and then a new one to come up. But I don't think that Vice Chair Thompson and I would necessarily continue our same roles. Potentially could, certainly, but right, it would be a new subcommittee with new co-chairs or chairs or so on. Director Ellen Abraha?
Commissioner Price, just a point of clarity. The commission already does have the authority to create subcommittees. Okay. You want to create any kind of subcommittee you want. My question was whether or not it could be along the same lines of this subcommittee that you all co-chair, because that is a subcommittee of the Human Relations Commission as well. So it would just be a matter now, if you wanted to create a subcommittee, even an ad hoc subcommittee to do this work, focused on other protected classes of persons, you can go ahead and do that right away. But if it's going to be along the lines of something that's a little more formal, if Commissioner Wiggins, if you're looking for exact replication of what was done with this initial group, then that's what I would need some direction on. But if you want to establish a subcommittee for the Human Relations Commission and not necessarily have it be exactly like what was created by the City Council, you all do have the authority to do that. You see, the difference is like with this subcommittee that was created by the City Council, it was clearly temporary. The City Council appointed those people who serve on there, but in this situation, they would not necessarily appoint who's on this subcommittee. It could be open to the general public, or you all could just decide who would be on it yourselves. So the question is, would you want to do it at that level, or would you want there to be appointments and things of that nature from the City Council? Because that's different.
Yeah. I'm curious too, because we've been doing so much work, we were given 18 months, I believe, as a kind of a guideline to be able to submit the report. And can you remind me, when does that run till? I'm so lost to how long we've been doing this.
Started back in July of last year. So the 18 months would expire January 2023.
Okay. So I can't help but wonder from an efficiency standpoint, because I'm all about that. As we're developing this report, while we were initially given the direction that it's around the LGBTQIA+, if we looked at each area, economic, mobility, housing, that type of thing, I mean, could we incorporate the other protected classes and points in there as well? Because some of the things that were coming up for this LGBTQIA, I think also help other protected classes, some of the ideas we're coming up with. So I'm wondering if we couldn't create a report that would really kind of branch out, so it's one cohesive report covering each section, speaking to the different protected classes.
We just have to be careful to make sure that we are not going beyond the scope.
Yeah.
upon which the city council created this subcommittee.
Okay.
Be the only thing that would come to mind. I'd be concerned about that. But that would not preclude any future subcommittees from being able to use that report as a guide for developing their own report of recommendations. And so that's what I was thinking. You probably still accomplish that same goal. It just in that report, because that report was specifically supposed to focus on that particular protected class. And so we would not want to give the impression that somehow the subcommittee was diminishing that in any way, because that was the specific purpose for the creation of that particular subcommittee by the city council.
I think it would have been great if we could have accomplished that task, Commissioner Thompson, in the beginning. But I would wonder if it is at all possible for us to give the same credence to the other subcommittees that may be developed, that we follow the exact same format that we started with the one that we were putting together for the LGBTQIA+ community. If we could do that to give fall in line with the same guidance, to say get the same measurements and have the same expectation. I don't know if we would need a full 18 months to accomplish this task. It could be done shorter. I know that they've done great work in a record period of time. So taking a sample from what this first subcommittee has done would help us as we go along to create something more inclusive for all of the other 13 protected classes.
So Commissioner Wiggins, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that you would rather go the route of having the city council appoint the members of subsequent subcommittees versus you all having the authority to do so.
That would be my, excuse me, I'm sorry. That would be my premise, but I'll follow the lead of your direction.
I think it would depend on the pleasure of the HRC, because understanding now, of course, if we do it that way, it's going to take a little longer potentially. It could be an expedited process probably if it was just something that fell within the authority of the Human Relations Commission. But it certainly, again, it doesn't impede the fact that the subcommittee could still follow this same format that this ad hoc subcommittee is following currently by creating a report, submitting it to the Human Relations Commission, the Human Relations Commission reviewing it and either sending it back with questions or revisions or approving it as is. And then the commission would move that report on to the city council for their consideration. So that's how this works currently. And so there would be nothing that would impede that from still working for a subcommittee over which you would have authority and you would be able to appoint and so on. That's not going to change that. You can do that. The biggest difference, just thinking off the top of my head now, might be some more things that I'm not thinking of, but the biggest difference is that the council would not be appointing those individuals, you would be.
Okay. All right, that would be my position. I don't know what any other commissioners would have an idea or a comment or thought. I'd like to hear what you guys think about that.
Sure. Yeah. I have some thoughts on that. It's interesting, and I hadn't really thought, so my brain's still kind of spinning around it. There have absolutely been advantages for taking the kind of more formal city council appointed route. We were forced, but that's, I don't mean that in a negative way. You know, we were directed to and had to reach out to the community, get applications, you know, have a very set, diverse group of people join us in order to form that committee. And so that was good and bad, right? Overall, I would say it was good, but it was, as Wanda had mentioned, you know, that did lengthen the process a little bit. It made it, you know, it took some of the choice out of our hands, and that's okay, because, you know, in a lot of cases, that's what we need. We need to be pushed a little bit out of our comfort zone to make sure we're getting as diverse of voices as possible. And that said, well, we have gotten some just incredible people in there who have had great ideas and have been engaged and have really driven our process along. We also had some misses. We also had some people join either not understanding what it was going to be or not really committed to the process of meeting for 18 months and doing some work in between meetings. And so it has been an imperfect but well-informed process. So I'm not saying I would do it differently, because I haven't really thought about it, to be quite honest. What Wanda is saying about us being able to do it more efficiently is without a doubt true. Right. If we were able to either within ourselves or reach out to the community on our own, it would happen quicker. It would be more efficiently. We would probably get a higher degree of participation, but we might, by our own, unintentionally by our own vision, miss people. Right. We might miss out on certain voices that it would be valuable to have. And I don't know about this, and I'm a little nervous about saying it in public, but I'm going to, so sorry. I don't know if having city commission or city council appointed and approval in the beginning makes them take the recommendations more seriously at the end. And so I don't know if that's true, but it certainly couldn't hurt. Right. So Carrie, I see you nodding, and I think that was part of your thought process from the beginning, is that if we follow that same formal process, we get their buy-in from the beginning, and we go ahead and take the longer route, that is the way to have a stronger chance that our recommendations will be heard with more fervor in the end. So I know I didn't really give an opinion there, because I honestly don't really have one yet, but those are my thoughts around the process. Interesting.
All right. So now, do we want to continue this discussion? Is that what you're asking, Commissioner Wiggins, or what is the plea?
So my plea was, one, to share my thoughts with the commission. I think listening to Wanda share some clarity, and then listening to what Commissioner Price has to say, I think I would like for us to look at having this subcommittee. This is my thoughts, to have this subcommittee, and maybe appoint or have the individuals to serve on it. Those be individuals that we select, and be intentional about the selections, and have one that go before the city council, if we still need to do that, to make sure that I think, what did you say, Wanda? What was your piece? If you would go to them, if you would go to the city, if you go to city council and petition them, it would be, if we were to do it as formal as as the other NDO study that they just completed, or if we just did the subcommittee ourselves, create that, and then appoint the individuals intentionally on this next NDO subcommittee.
And yes, Commissioner Wiggins, yes. And I think that that's what needs to be decided, and you all can decide that right away, whether or not you would like to go ahead and take the lead and be responsible for that yourselves, or whether you want council to do something like that. And that doesn't mean that they're going to do it, because it would just be a recommendation coming to you. So that needs to be understood too, that just because you recommend that, they may still say, well, no, that's why we created the Human Relations Commission. We want you all to just go ahead and take it and run with it, because we did this initial one. You have a model that you can use. So do what you do, go for it. They may say that.
Okay.
I think it's important to understand that that could happen, but certainly, again, you have the authority to create subcommittees of your own.
That's what I would like. That would be my suggestion to the commission, that we create that subcommittee and look at addressing and put together a cohesive report that would apply to the other 13 protected classes. That would be my recommendation to the commission.
Okay, so you're asking for a motion.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Okay.
That's the motion that I'm making.
And Chair Lee, it would exclude sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression, those three, as those were the ones that were a part of what Vice Chair Thompson and Commissioner Price are already leading with the current study committee.
Gotcha. And it would also require for a new commissioner perhaps to also lead this committee as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, okay. You're correct.
Yeah. All right. So there's been a motion by Commissioner Wiggins. Is there a second?
I will second.
Second by Commissioner Price. Commissioner Preble.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Vice Chair Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Haynes.
Aye.
And Chair Leak is aye as well. Any opposed? Any discussion? All right, the ayes have it and the motion carries. Thank you so much. And thank you, Commissioner Wiggins, for bringing it up as well. That is very important. And, we just want to make sure that we are representing all for everyone in regards to the NDO. So we appreciate that.
And Chair Lee, we now have an NDO staff in place. And I do believe this would be right up Shonda Brenson's alley, because she leads outreach for NDO. I mean, she and Eleanor both do outreach and investigations, but Eleanor is the lead on investigations, whereas she's the lead on outreach. So this subcommittee, whatever the next focus is going to be for it, they would be working closely with Shonda. And so I don't know if there's a preference that the commission has for what the focus should be. Should it be race and color? Should it be veterans? Should it be, whatever the focus should be? I guess that would need to be established as well. And then, we can get to work.
Yeah, I agree. So that will call for more discussion around that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd like to say thank you to each commissioner. I think the community would be better served. I thank Commissioner Price, Vice Chair Thompson, for the dedication that you all have given, as well as create that roadmap for where we are going to journey. But when it's all said and done, I want just to make sure that we are very reflective of our community and giving those thoughts and credence. So thank you both for what you've done, and thank you everyone for agreeing to hold this.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Wiggins, for bringing this up and getting your thoughts out and shared. It's important, that's why we're here, right? So that we can bring these ideas into the community and make sure that we are better serving our whole population. So that's wonderful.
Vice Chair Thompson, you had a comment, so you go on mute. Oh, you did. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for that discussion. It was needed, and we have made a decision, and we will continue on discussing how that's going to be made up and critique, instruction, etc. So whatever I can do as the chair, I will do my part as well. So I don't think there is no new business. We don't have any presentations.
That we could even count that as new business, Chair Lee.
Well, that's right. That was new business, yeah.
We could count it as that, yeah.
All right. Well, I hope that everyone will attend the April Fair Housing Summit, because remember we did vote on that at our last month meeting. So that's going to be in place of our regular meeting, which will be on April 21st. So please take advantage of that. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to even get in your car, to run your gas. All you have to do is just sit in your chair and just watch the summit. So that is that's an advantage right there. you gotta worry about no gas prices and all that. So but with the exception of getting a good lunch, but we can't worry about that. Hopefully we'll be able to do that next year as well. But Ms. Wanda, we are asking as well that maybe you could set that up for us in regards to so we can see the suite for the new offices as well. Hope we can do that soon.
Absolutely, Chair Lee. Happy to do it.
Thank you. And have lunch. Thank you.
Wow, really? We might be able to swing that for you. I know we miss our good meals together. So
yes,
we'll certainly see what we can do.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. All right. Well, if there are no other comments for the good of the order, as what I say in my church, if all hearts and minds are clear, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, motion by Commissioner Preble, second by Commissioner Wiggins. Commissioner Taylor?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Vice Chair Thompson?
Aye.
Commissioner Wiggins?
Aye.
Commissioner Price?
Aye.
Commissioner Preble?
Aye.
And Chair Lee, aye as well. Great meeting. Thank you all so much for the hard work.
Chair Lee, did you get
Commissioner Haynes? She was at the bottom. I'm sorry, Commissioner Haynes. Okay. All right, the motion carries. Thank you all so much, and hopefully I'll see you all as well at our April Fair Housing Summit.
All right, good night.
Be
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.